Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, June 5th when I'm recording this video, and I just wanted to give an update of everything that I've been doing here in my garden. This is the first garden that I've ever put in myself, that I've been starting from scratch, but I wanted to just walk around and show you the things that I have been doing, working on, to share with you, to show the progress that I've made in just a few months, and that you could too if you wanted to start your own garden. So a good place to start this tour would be at the front gate. I built this gate and the fence all the way around the garden. It's a 36 by 36 foot garden plot area that I have fenced in. Made a video about putting in the fence, but lovely gate with a latch that I really like. Turned out pretty well. Learned a lot. I've got another one that I need to build on the other side, other entrance. So the next one will probably be better because I've learned some things in the process. But my nice little gate. So my garden is comprised mostly of raised beds. I put in eight raised beds filled with dirt and compost. These first three right here were the first ones that I put in. Have a mix of things in them. I have some peas growing, carrots, lettuces, onions. I later learned that onions and peas don't grow well together. So some of the peas are near onions, some of the peas are not near onions, and we'll see if there's actually an impact there. Some various brassicas growing, kale, broccoli, lettuce, and then I have a whole lot of cabbages that I actually need to harvest. Now, I grew these cabbages under a row cover to try to protect them, but that didn't work out all that well. I have two cabbages that I grew in pots, and while they had some, bug damage on them, it wasn't all that bad. These ones, however, which I protected, were much, much worse. And I think that is partly due to the fact that the bug insect cover netting kept out flying insects, but I have a big problem with earwigs, and earwigs don't really fly. They crawl and walk, so they crawl their way up under the netting, and just had a heyday reproducing and eating these cabbages. And all of the predators to earwigs, most of them are flying insects, particularly wasps. So I didn't have the predators to attack them. So one of the reasons why you should have ways to attract beneficial insects to your garden. So, but still gonna harvest these and see how much food I can get from these cabbages. I think I'm gonna make a few batches of kimchi. Moving on from the back three raised beds, I have several more. This trellis system right here with cattle panels where I have cucumbers, a few tomatoes, actually those are loofahs, a few tomatoes, cucumbers down here, and then in the beds, not on the trellis, I have some beets. My beets aren't going that well. I need to study up on how to grow beets. Beans, green beans over here, and then some okra, and then working our way back for these two raised beds, I have peppers and tomatoes. And my tripod just broke, so going handheld for the rest of this. But I wanted to show you my tomatoes because they're not looking that great right now. I thought that they weren't having enough water because it hasn't rained in almost 2 weeks here in Kentucky. It's been getting into the 90s, so I thought that they needed a lot of supplemental water. So I've been watering them not every day, but maybe like every other day. I've been overdoing it apparently. Finally tested the soil with a moisture meter, and it is far too wet, so I've been drowning them. And it's kind of unfortunate because the sign for a plant that, or at least a tomato plant that is getting too much water and not enough water is essentially the same. So sorry guys. hopefully laying off watering them for a few days or a week will perk them back up. So these ones aren't doing that great. My other tomatoes, much smaller, but doing perfectly fine. So lesson learned. This is my last raised bed right here. Also tomatoes. I think in total I have 22 different tomato plants, or 22 tomato plants, and let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 varieties of tomatoes amongst those 22 different tomato plants. And then for my pepper plants, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 varieties of peppers, ranging from very mild bell pepper all the way up to Carolina Reapers, which I'm very excited for. And then I have these 4. This was a conduit that was on the property when we arrived that I cut into 4 and then filled with dirt and compost. I'm going to be planting sweet potatoes in these 2, and then I've got winter squash growing on the edge, so they're going to be trellising over into this area, or trailing over into this area. That's the goal. I have this big blank spot right here where I could put another raised bed. We'll see if I get around to it. That might be a next year thing, because I don't know, running out of steam, or at least I want to start focusing on other areas. So around the perimeter on 2 sides, I've got some beds that I built in with logs and then filled with compost and dirt. I've got corn and sunflowers here, leeks, and then I have some herbs, sage, bee balm, a lavender. There's pots kind of throughout the garden with various herbs and other things that I have growing. I have squash and zucchini. There's marigolds also kind of sprinkled throughout to deter insects, or to attract insects that would otherwise eat some of my plants, deter insects, attract beneficial insects with the flowers for pollinators and other things that will eat bugs, so hopefully those do something. And lastly, I have potatoes in these bags. I thought that they would need some more time, but the tops are turning yellow, which typically is a sign that they're ready to harvest. They never put on any flowers. There were also potatoes that started sprouting that we got from the grocery store, from Aldi, so maybe not the best thing to start with, maybe not a proper seed potato. So these may be ready to harvest, or it could have been a failure. So I'm gonna dump one of these out and see if I've got potatoes. Made some potatoes, grew some potatoes, not the greatest yield. 2 problems I think occurred. One, I did not know that there, like tomatoes, that there are indeterminate and determinate potatoes. I believe the variety that I was trying to grow from the ones from the supermarket were determinate potatoes, so they did not need mounding, number 1. And so because of that, they mature a little bit faster, 70, 90 days. I think these could have gone a little bit longer, but I think my mounding really hurt them, so that wasn't good. And then one of them was rotten, soil pretty moist. I may have been, like with my tomatoes, giving them a little bit too much love in the form of water. Yeah, not great yields, but I'm not discouraged. This is the first year that I'm doing a garden on my own. I know some things are going to do really, really well, and other things are going to be what you could call failures. I'm going to call learning opportunities, because it is my goal with my backyard garden that I'm eventually going to continue to build out, is to produce the majority, if not all of our food from our property. That is my goal. It is a lofty goal, and it's not going to happen this year, This year, and probably for many more years, are just, lots of learning opportunities. And this is just one in a long line of many. So this is my garden update for June. First year putting in a garden. I'm having fun. Until next time, my name is Tyler Lloyd, and I wish you the very best. See you later. Bye.